This is a presentation on the Net Generation and their learning styles. In this presentation, we will focus on the following areas concerning the Net Generation: background information and traits of the Net Generation, so that you can get a feel for how the Net Generation operates. We will then look at the various learning styles of the Net Generation and technologies that the Net Generation uses for learning. Finally, we will end with some suggestions on how teachers can connect with the Net Generation. This will include some insight from my own experiences with the Net Generation. The Net Generation, also known as gamers or millennials, were born in between 1982 and the present. As they have never known a life without technology, they are often referred to as digital natives. They are more interested in a classroom that implores the use of multimedia technology as opposed to the traditional lecture-style classroom. Furthermore, the Net Generation responds well to the engaging atmosphere in which they can interact with fellow classmates. As technology has made communication faster and more efficient, the Net Generation expects information to be delivered without delay, especially if the information concerns their classwork. As gamers spend much of their time playing video games, they are accustomed to the challenge of solving problems and are constantly looking at different solutions to do so. Being able to multitask comes naturally because of their constant exposure to varying types of technologies, such as cell phone text, instant messaging, and internet games. They compete against themselves first and one another second. They are resilient enough to not give up when they don't solve a problem the first time, and they are confident in their abilities to solve the problems that they encounter. Finally, they use their social skills to team up with one another to solve these problems. The Net Generation is easily bored by the traditional formal instruction of their teachers. They are self-directed learners who seek out the information themselves. As they are not afraid to fail, they keep seeking solutions to problems until that problem is solved. They continue to rely on their peers to assist them in their quests for information, while holding a distrust for the information that their teachers provide them. Having never known life without technology such as a computer, Net Geners expect to use the computer and internet to not only research information for assignments such as class projects, but they also expect to use the computer and internet to create the class projects. A wiki is a great way for students to stay connected with one another and their teachers outside of class. As the wiki is used for more informal conversations, students can converse online just as they would if they were talking face-to-face in the classroom. Video games are great learning tools for Net Geners. Through the video games, they can portray characters that they would not be able to portray in real life. An example of this can be seen in The Sims and Age of Mythology. Through social networking sites such as Twitter and Facebook, students can share different pieces of information and articles that concern the lesson topics that they are learning. Additionally, they can share their classmates' reflections of these articles with one another. Born in 1986, I am classified as a Net Gener. As such, I have a good understanding of how my students want to learn. Every time the book requires the use of some sort of worksheet, I think to myself, how can I make this more interactive so that my students don't get bored? I also do lots of group work that allows them to partake in cooperative learning activities, in which they teach one another about the material that we are covering. My advice to those teachers who are trying to find ways to connect with Net Geners is to simply try. When your students see that you are trying to make a connection with them through technology, they will have a greater respect for you. If worse comes to worse, they can always assist you in using the technology that you do not fully understand.